What's up, guys? It's your boy Silent Arrow 676 here, and today we're back with another reaction video to none other than James Townsend and Son. And I don't know what this one's gonna be today. I am looking forward to it. I've grown like very fond of this channel so far. You might not know it about me, but I am a huge fan of like the 17th and 18th century lifestyles and stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's get on with this reaction. What is that?
Today we're going to bake beans. Beans were a common fare in the 18th century, both for regular folks and
I can't stomach eating beans.
We're going to bake beans in the oven today, and we're going to bake beans buried in a pit.
That's a weird looking oven.
It was common practice in New England for the village baker to heat up his oven, bake his bread and other items, and then at the end of the day, everyone would bring their bean pots and they'd put it in the oven and it would stay in overnight to bake the beans, especially on Saturday night. So on Sunday, everyone had beans to eat and they didn't have to work on the Sabbath.
I don't like beans. It's
Soldiers
a taste and
didn't
texture
have
thing.
Ovens to work
it's nasty.
with, so they'd have to use whatever they had on hand. We're going to dig a hole so that we can bake our beans inside of a fire pit, down inside the earth.
Huh. Well, that's creative.
We're looking for a hole in the ground that's about twice as big as the pot we're going to cook in, and a little bit deeper than the pot, so we can have coals underneath and on top. So while our oven's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and start a fire in this pit.
Huh.
While our fires are burning down to coals, let's talk about beans. Soaking your beans is a very good idea. It helps them cook for a lot less time. You also should boil your beans. Dry beans have a toxin in them that causes issues with digestion if they aren't heated to the right temperature. So if they're baked at a very low temperature, that doesn't get rid of the toxins, and you need to boil them first.
Maybe that's why they make me sick.
Well,
because I don't cook them
beans, boiling. These have boiled for quite a while. You can boil an hour or whatever it takes. Get them nice and soft and ready to bake. We're going to use two different methods of baking. We're going to flavor these two batches in two different ways. Let's divide our beans up into our two different cooking vessels. We have our new redware bean pot that you can find on our website. We also are going to use one of our 2-quart pots, and we have
that looks more like a cooking pot than
metal lids for them that are available.
That clay
one for this sort of operation. Anyway, let's get these divided out.
You don't even use a spoon? Huh. But never mind, I guess you don't need a spoon.
First thing we're going to put into these, they're both going to get some salt pork. You can use authentic style salt pork like we cover in one of our videos. You can also use bacon or salt pork that you find in the grocery store, but they're both rather greasy, fatty, so you would want to cut back on how much you use. If you use authentic salt pork, you want to make sure to soak it for an hour or two to reduce the saltiness.
I've always wanted to try and make salt pork. That's on my bucket list of things to try.
Mustard. Both of these, dry mustard is a very common, you see it in almost every recipe for baked beans.
Mustard?
We're going to need a good big spoonful in each one of these pots. Both our beans recipes use a sweetener. In this one we're going to use a molasses, and this one some maple syrup. Both of those very common sweeteners. We're going to use about a cup. You want to use Barbados molasses. You don't want to use blackstrap. Barbados molasses or light molasses. It's going to have a lot better taste than blackstrap, which is very bitter. And for the maple beans, you want to make sure to use about a half a cup of authentic maple syrup.
Well, naturally. You got to
And
use
in
the real
both
stuff.
pots, a quarter teaspoon of pepper here, not one of these spoons, or you do too much. So don't go crazy with pepper. And we need some onions in here. We're gonna use about half of these, maybe a half a cup or.
I don't really like beans, but
onions.
those actually look delicious.
You want to get all the stuff mixed well. Push down to the bottom. Mixed well.
Oh, cross-contamination.
Stirred up.
Ah, that's an OCD thing.
Now let's top these up with water. Don't be afraid to put too much water in. It's going to boil or it's going to bake off, so you want to have both of these topped off with water. Okay.
Oh, naturally.
There we go.
That's a big freaking flask.
Water.
Holy hell.
Our fires both places look like they're ready to go. Let's start with our oven baked beans first. Our oven's good and hot. In a previous video, we've shown you how to build one of these ovens and how to fire it and bake bread in it.
I'm definitely going to have to check that video out.
Bake bread in the oven before you put beans in it. You don't want it to be too hot.
Well, naturally.
We're going to let these beans bake. You can bake them in an oven like this for 4 or 6, 8 hours, even 12 hours. The longer the better. They really start to taste good. You might want to check them after just a couple of hours to make sure there's still some liquid in there. You don't want them baking out too dry. You might need to add a little water.
Interesting. Okay, I have loved this video so far.
This is my laptop. From sketches to finishing touches. This powerful 10th gen Intel Core processor has the power to keep up with my imagination.
Okay.
Got to make some room in our fire pit to put this other pot down inside the coals.
Definitely not a cooking method that I'd be familiar with. Looks simple enough, though.
We're going to make sure you've got coals on all sides, coals on the bottom, hot coals on all the way around each side. Then you want to have a little rock that you can put on top of the lid, make sure it doesn't get knocked off. Now we're going to put coals up on top.
Well, I'd be way too concerned if, like, ash got in there.
We're going to go ahead and build a fire up on top of this so that so it's got more heat.
I see.
The beans have been in here about 3 or 4 hours, so we're going to go ahead and pull them out now. They could probably cook a lot longer, but let's get these out of here.
Oof. It looks so good. Oh.
Well, let's take a look. Whoa, they look really good.
Oh, that's going to be a pain in the ass to clean.
For about 4 hours, so they're ready to eat right now. If we want them to be even better, we can let them cook longer, another 4 hours or even another 8 hours. And they'll really start to darken up, but these are ready to eat just like this. These maple beans have been in the embers for several hours. I think they're done. Let's take them out.
Oh, that pot's going to be a pain in the ass to clean up.
There we have our molasses baked beans and our maple flavored baked beans. Both of these we let cook for quite a while. There's a lot of latitude here in how long we're going to bake our beans. They've already been pre-cooked when we put them in. We've already been boiled, so you know they're only going to get softer and better tasting the longer you cook them. We put in the raw salt pork. So you're definitely going to make sure that that gets cooked. So you want to bake them at least 2 hours, at the very bare minimum. 4 hours is good, and all the way up to 12 hours. They're only going to get tasting a little bit better. You just need to check on their moisture levels occasionally and make sure they don't get too dry. Another hint on these bean pots, when you're using especially the molasses, they want to boil over, and then this molasses stuff gets stuck between the lid of the pot and the body, and they can be really hard to get off. You don't want to break your pot and break the lid. So you want to either grease the this lid here so that it doesn't get stuck, or you want to make sure to wipe those down when you check on the moisture level. These beans have a flavor that you cannot get anyplace else. I really recommend you try a couple of these bean recipes. They're really good.
I won't plan on trying it because
Good
I don't
food
like beans.
is really important. The public is going to be more interested in food when you've got really good food in your cooking. Recruits, if you want people to join your group, really good food is what's going to bring them in. That's a really important part. And you want to have fun when you're reenacting. And probably the most important part of having fun is having really good food. So I encourage everyone to do more period cooking at events. I think you'll really enjoy it. On our website, you can find all kinds of great period cooking things, equipment and eating supplies. We have a lot of different kinds of clothing, so make sure to check out our online catalog. You can get one of our printed catalogs, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook.
Well, guys, I actually enjoyed that one. I'm not a huge fan of beans. Don't like them. But I definitely enjoyed learning how to cook them 2 different ways. In ways that I didn't even know you could. Definitely something I'm probably going to put on my bucket list to try. But if you like this video, comment, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.